class. This video is going to help you with the paperclip question on activity 5.5a, and it'll be question number 8, or VIII in Roman numerals there. So as we go through, you're going to see the different setups that you can use. All these tools that we're using today aren't necessarily the surefire way to go about this. You can use fewer or more depending on how comfortable you are with the software. There's different ways to do things. I'm not saying mine's the end-all be-all way to complete this activity, but it should help you out. So here's a brief look at what we're going through. We're going through the steps to make this paperclip. You're going to use the following commands: sweep, which is similar to extrude, but it follows a certain path, and we'll have to make that path. And sweep is located pretty close to extrude there once you get into the 3D menu. Also, we're going to look at some sketch tools, which are line, circle, and project geometry, which we've become pretty familiar with over the past couple of days. Then finally we'll get into some feature tools, which are work planes and how to create a point on that work plane, and also using the sweep command once again. So buckle in for the ride, and here we go. Alright, there you're given a brief explanation of what we're going to be doing here. I'm going to go ahead and open up Inventor. I have clicked a new part. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to click to start a new sketch. So click Start 2D Sketch. The plane we're going to select, probably the best one we can go ahead and do again, we'll stick with the XY plane. We're going to have to create another work plane like I stated earlier, which will be actually on the XZ plane, which we've used before as well. So I'll show you how to do that in a little bit. First off, it tells us we need to create a sketch to represent the path, the curving spiral line along which the profile will sweep. The dimensions of the geometry are not important, just try to approximate a real paperclip to finish the sketch. So what we're going to do, it's not even going to be really close to the real size of a paperclip. I did this real size to 3D print it, and it's real small. So what we're going to do, we're going to start off here, select your line. You're going to select a line. We're going to go vertical. Let's go ahead and go half an inch. So 0.5 will go up. What we're going to do next is we're going to hit escape so our line is no longer connected. We'll select our line command again, and we're going to create another vertical line, but we're going to start somewhere down here, so a little underneath our previous line, and we're going to go down. We're going to go down, let's say, an inch. That looks pretty good. From there, we're going to hit escape again, so we disconnect our line. We're going to go up and click our line command once again, and this time we're going to go right even with our previous line, a little ways away to the right. We'll go vertically down. We're going to go let's do 0.5 from there too. So essentially we just want to make sure that we're a little lower than our first 0.5 line over here. You don't have to be connected on this graph if you don't want to. That's just kind of how mine turned out. And the final step, we're going to create a line. And we're going to do one big line over here. We're going to get even with our first line we've drawn. You see the little checked line there. We're going to click and we're gonna go down even with our second line. So we see that's lined up, and we'll click and hit escape one more time to loosen up that line. So you should have 4 lines. They're kind of staggered off. Note that your second line and your fourth line, the bottoms are equal, and note that your fourth line is equal to your first line. Your second and third line, just the tops are equal to each other. Alright, from there, probably the easiest way to do this is going up to your arc and selecting a 3-point arc. So we're going to do that, and we're going to select the top of our first line. Make sure that little bubble comes up. You're going to click. And what it's telling us to do over in the corner here, it's saying select end of arc. So we're going to select the top of our fourth line. From there, you can create a slight arc. So I'm going to let mine go. It kind of snaps. If you see there, the concentric circle line, or tangent circle line, excuse me, shows up with a little line on the circle. So mine ended up being 0.324. Now yours is going to probably be something different, but just go until you see these little lines if you can, and it looks pretty flush here. It's not way loopy or anything. So just try and get to this point where it shows those tangent circles would be fine. You notice it places a center point, and that's good. That's what we'll need to do. So the next thing, let's go to the bottom of our second line and click once that bubble appears, and go over to our fourth line, and we'll see what we get this time. So we have those tangent circle lines that come up again, and this time it says 0.238 inches, which is fine. We had those little constraints there, that's fine. Not necessarily proportional, but it's smooth. It's a smooth arc, and that's what's important. Our next and final loop is going to be clicking on the second line, the top of the second line, and the top of the third line there. And we're going to go until that tangent circle command comes up, and it's going to be 0.133 for me. Keep in mind, I just want you to have smooth arcs. So I just want you to have these tangent circle icons pop up. The dimensions do not have to be the same. This is strictly just to get the general idea of the paperclip, and we actually could have created less of a space here. It probably would have looked more like a regular paperclip, but that's alright. So essentially you're finished with this sketch. Go ahead and go up to the top and hit finish sketch. And we see we have a profile, a rough profile of our paperclip. The next thing we need to do is when you hit finish sketch, it pops up with your 3D model tab. You noticed at the top in the left top corner. If you look in the middle, so just past the hole and fillet and shell and all that, you see work features panel at the bottom. There's a work plane. We're going to select that work plane. What we need to do, we're going to select the endpoint of our line, and see how it came up with a little asterisk there. We're going to click, and you notice if you move your cursor, after you click once on that little asterisk, if you move your cursor up to the first line segment, it's going to give you a plane. We're going to click again because we want this work plane right on the end. And if you look, it is attached to just the end point, which is what we need. Our next step is we're going to create a circle on this endpoint. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to sketch. I'm going to click my circle, and I'm going to rotate to the bottom of this work plane. And you need to pick a corner of the work plane in order to start the sketch on it. So as you see, it pulled the work plane in place. Now what tends to happen is you can't exactly get your center point sometimes on this little point that we had here. So if you can't, just try your best to get there. It should work. We're going to create a circle. Mine's going to be a little fatter since I have some room. So I'm going to go ahead and go 0.2 for our circle. So that looks really big, but we'll see how it works out here. Once you complete your circle, all you need to do is hit Finish Sketch. And it's going to take you back to your 3D model plane. Nope, sorry, we're going to click 3D model then. And sweep is, you see under the Create tab at the bottom, extrudes there, revolves there. Sweep up here as a smaller icon next to that. So we're going to click Sweep. Now this box should pop up. What happens is it should choose the circle we've just drawn for the profile. If it does not, click the arrow next to profile and click your circle that we've just drawn. Next thing you need to do is, if you look at the bottom here, it says please select continuous path segment. So what we need to do is we need to rotate our view and we need to click the rest of our paperclip, so that squirrely lines that we've drawn. Now this is a little big, it's not very realistic, but the point is just using these commands. So if it doesn't say select continuous path at the bottom, you're going to click the arrow next to path, and then you should be able to click on the sketch that we've previously drawn. You can then click OK, and it extrudes around what we've drawn. So I could go back and make it slightly thinner if I wanted. So I'll expand the sweep. I'm going to go to Sketch 2, right click, Edit Sketch. I'm going to double click on the dimension and I'm going to make it 0.125. And I'll hit Finish Sketch, and there we go. That's a little more proportional. So go ahead and hit the I and Save As at the top, and you're going to put in part file name of paperclip and your initials. You can go ahead and hit Save where you need to, and you'll be finished. So I'm going to put mine on my thumb drive here. Actually, I'm going to put it on OneDrive, I think. Now we'll put it on my... So I'm going to put my paperclip there and hit Save, and you're good to go. Email me if you have questions. Remember, these need to be completed by noon. If you're struggling, you can call the school or stop in. I'll be here today too. So that is it. Thank you for watching and good luck. So here's a brief look at what we're going through. We're going through the steps to make this paperclip. You're going to use the following commands. Sweep, which is similar to extrude, but it follows a certain path, and we'll have to make that path. And sweep is located pretty close to extrude there once you get into the 3D menu. Also, we're going to look at some sketch tools, which are line, circle, and project geometry, which we've become pretty familiar with over the past couple of days. Then finally we'll get into some feature tools, which are work planes and how to create a point on that work plane, and also using the sweep command once again. So buckle in for the ride, and here we go.